Howdy ho folks, CR here. Now the topic of today's video is why raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour is a bad idea. So guys, please share this with somebody who believes that it's a good idea to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And for those of you who are adamant about doing that, at least hear me out on this one as well, because I guarantee you there are things that you have not thought about when you're talking about raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. The other thing I want to throw out here is that it's a little bit of a disclaimer here. I know some commenters have talked about my drinking while doing these videos. Well, guess what? Today's my only day off. I still want to chill. I still want to have some beers while doing these videos. So, kind of simoing it here. I first want to address the argument for raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. People who are in favor of this say that, well, you can't really live off the current minimum wage, you can't have a family off the current minimum wage, and that part is true. However, there are a lot of things that haven't been taken into account for when you're talking about raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I'm going to throw out a stat real quick here before we get into the video even more, and why raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour is a bad idea. And that stat is, okay, 44% of all jackpot winners, for the lottery, they've spent all that money within 5 years. And 70% have spent it all within 7 years. And you're talking about millions of dollars here. And in some cases, even hundreds of millions of dollars here. All gone within 5 to 7 years for the majority of lotto winners. So I want you to take that number into account, because this is going to play out a little later on. So the first aspect I want to discuss of why raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour is a bad idea are the individual wages themselves. And the first factor is that these people who work to get $15 an hour right now without the minimum wage being that way, well, they're now going to be at minimum wage, no matter what job skills they acquired, no matter how hard they work to get their promotions, no matter how hard they're working in their current job right now, they're going to be at minimum wage. Those people who are currently making $7.25 right now, which is the minimum wage, how many of them do you think are going to keep their jobs without any special skills? Especially if they work for a small business who can't afford to pay them $15 an hour. Well, at least not initially. They're going to have to be laid off. And being laid off from a minimum wage job, well, what do you think the odds are that they're going to find another job right away that's minimum wage? Especially considering the fact they have nothing to set them aside to make them worth $15 an hour, at least not initially. Moreover, those people who make between $25 and $15 an hour minimum wage, well, they're going to be, again, at the minimum. On top of that, they're going to have their workload increased. And even some of them may be cut, even though they're not exactly making $7.25 an hour, they might be making $12 an hour. But while their employer could have afforded to pay them $12 an hour, couldn't have afforded to pay them $15 an hour. So those people right there stand to lose their job as well. And if they don't, they're going to be back at square one again too. So you're going to hurt those people. With the increased prices that are going to come with the increased minimum wage, you're going to negatively affect these people, and even negatively affect these people here who make $20 to $25 an hour too. Who you're not going to affect are those people who make $1 million plus annually. I mean, do you honestly think raising somebody's cost of living from $4,000 a month to $6,000 a month is really going to hurt them if they make $1 million plus a year? Well, no, it's not. These guys are going to have a very minimal effect on them. It's going to be these guys up here that are going to have the negative effect on them. If you don't make 6 figures a year, you're probably going to have a really negative effect on you. That you're going to be the ones to feel the negative effect. So my next topic, taxes. One of the things that I never hear from people who are demanding a $15 an hour minimum wage, doesn't matter if they're the talking heads or if they're the individual minimum wage earners that just want a better life for themselves, doesn't matter. They never mention the tax brackets. They never mention reforming the tax code to accommodate for the increase in minimum wage. Why is this important? Well, check this out. People who are making $15 an hour or around that, generally speaking, if they're full-time, they are paying federal income taxes. People who are making around the minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, even if they're full-time, even if they work some overtime, generally are not paying federal income taxes. In fact, they're getting some back with the earned income credit. But you boost their minimum wage to $15 an hour, and they still kept their job after that. They're at $15 an hour now. They're still at the bottom, and well, not exactly at the bottom. They're not unemployed, but they're pretty close to it. I mean, they're minimum wage, but now they have to pay taxes. So they've got that added responsibility. Those people who are at $15 an hour, they're still going to have to pay the same taxes they were before, but they're now at the bottom of the rung when it comes to employed. They're at minimum wage. So nobody has talked about accommodating the tax brackets for this increase in minimum wage. Really, guys, come on, let's think about what we're doing here before we act. Now this one, I'm going to actually break into a few parts here. Bad financial / work habits. I can go on. I could do a whole other video on just this alone. I'm going to break this into a few parts. Bad financial habits. I'm going to start off with that one. This, believe it or not, gets people more than anything else. And the problem with bad financial habits is it seems like it doesn't matter how much money you make, it's never going to be enough and you're always going to have financial problems. I know somebody right now who makes a significant amount more than I do, yet he and his girlfriend are in some deep debt. And they still continue to go out to fancy restaurants more than they should. They still continue to go out and have lavish vacations, even though they don't make the money for that. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you have bad financial habits, then, there's really no helping you until you fix that part of you. There's really no pay raise that anybody can give you until you fix that portion. Now, me. Alright, this is an expensive pistol, my Desert Eagle Chamberlain 50 Action Express. Before I bought this, I made sure I had the money in my account. I made sure it was something that I wanted, which actually, I've been wanting this for quite a long time when I bought it. It's fun to go out and shoot at the range, even though the rounds are expensive. They're about $1.50 a round last time I checked. But it's good fun at the range. And I don't go out and shoot it when I don't have the money to go out and shoot it. If worse comes to worse, I can sell this and at least recoup some of my money. And this is a $2,300 firearm after taxes. But I knew I wanted it before I spent the money on it. I made the conscious decision and made sure I had the money to begin with to purchase it before I purchased it. And this is what I mean by good financial choices. Work habits is another big portion of this, right? You see, these minimum wage jobs aren't set up to be a permanent position for you. They're not set up to make a living wage. They're certainly not set up to raise a family on. They're there as a stepping stone, so to speak. They're, if you're talking about somebody who flips burgers or runs a cash register at McDonald's, it's not intended for you to do that your whole entire life. That's a stepping stone. Those jobs are set up for high school kids and people in college that don't have a whole lot of time and don't have a whole lot of job skills, but they want to make a little bit of extra cash going through college. That's what those jobs are set up for. Or those people who already have retirement saved up and set aside and they just want something to do to earn a little extra cash on their retirement. That's what those jobs are there for. If you want to make a living wage, you have to have a skill that's needed, that sets you aside from everybody else, that your employer can use to make money. And one of the things that gets me on this one is because I have talked to people with no job skills, and I have tried to get people with no job skills a license and a job skill they have. That's a marketable skill that people need. And at the end of the day, with all this, they tell me, well, I can't do this. Well, I'm sorry, your employer is not looking for the answer, I can't. Your employer pays you for, I can get this done, and you actually do get this done. This is what your employer pays you for. This is a job. Your employer pays you to get the job done. The same goes with people who come in late, who call in sick frequently, who need a lot of time off for some reason or another. Your employer, if they're paying you money to do a job, it's most likely because they need you there to do that job. And if that job's a minimum wage, well, that usually means you're pretty easily replaceable because that job doesn't require too much in the way of skill. If you're got a skilled job, your employer is going to pay you more for that skilled job, especially if it requires a license like a commercial driver's license, a welder's license, or any other skilled trade out there. Your employer pays you to do a job. That's just how it is. No matter what that job is. I mean, you could be a commercial driver, you could be a welder, you could be a carpenter, a mason. They need that job done. You could be IT. They need that job done. That's what they pay you to do. So the very last portion of this part right here is the overlap between bad financial habits and bad work habits. And really, I want to call it the bad judgment habits all around. To clarify what I mean, you have people that will go out and take out a massive student loan to get a college degree that really doesn't give them any marketable job skills, but it's part of their dreams. You have people that go and look for a job based on their dreams. And unfortunately, the reality of the situation is your employer, they don't hire you to fulfill your dreams. They hire you to fulfill a position that they need, to do a job that they need to get done. So if you go out and get a college degree with something that doesn't have any markable job skills, just to fulfill your dreams, you're going to find your dreams aren't going to be fulfilled, and you're not going to get a job to pay off that student loan debt. In fact, it's probably better off that you didn't even go out and get that college diploma at this point. You should instead look for a marketable trade school to go to. Get a marketable trade. And I understand you're not going to be doing the exact job you want to, but guess what? Most of us doing the job that pays any sort of money, well, it's not exactly the job we particularly like. It's not exactly our dreams either, but with the money we earn, we can at least go out and fulfill some of our dreams. Hell, you know what? I've got dreams that I would like to be fulfilled. Haven't quite happened yet. But you know what? I fulfilled, again, quite a few of my dreams. It's about having good judgment, both financially and work-wise. It's about making some sacrifices in the way of that. So that is all I'm going to go into on this topic. I could do a whole video on this part right here, but I'm going to leave it at that. So, in conclusion, yes, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour is a bad idea. I hope you guys will listen to what I've said in this video. Think about it a little bit. Got something I haven't covered or something that you need to say, you have the comment section. If you need to do a response video to me, please leave me a link. Let me know, because I am definitely interested in what you have to say on the issue. Thank you for watching. Y'all take her easy out there.